Hello, welcome to the video lecture series of RGPV Bhopal and Directorate of Technical Education Madhya Pradesh. I am Dr. Sarla Verma, lecturer in English in Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar Polytechnic College, Gwalior. Today's topic is auxiliary verbs, and this is the part 1 or the lecture 1 of this topic. In this lecture, we will be dealing with the auxiliary verbs be, do and does, has, have, can and could, and shall and will. The course outcome is that the student should be able to formulate grammatically correct sentences in English using general purpose words. The specific outcomes of this module on auxiliary verbs are: after completing this module, you will be able to identify main verbs and auxiliary verbs, use auxiliary verbs correctly in a given situation, and form question tags and short answers using auxiliary verbs to converse effectively. The prerequisites for studying auxiliary verbs are knowledge of determiners, identification of verbs in a sentence, and the basic knowledge of subject-verb agreement. Let's begin with identifying verb in these sentences. She is a student, he was my teacher, and the earth is round. In these sentences, is, was and is, these are the verbs and these are the state verbs. These verbs depict the state of being and they are forms of be. She goes to college, I read stories, and mother advised me to study. In these sentences, go, read and advise, these are action verbs. These are verbs which show the action which is being performed by the subject. The children run and play in the park. In this sentence, there are two action verbs, run and play, and both the verbs are of equal importance. They are equally important, they carry equal weightage, and both are main verbs. She sang and danced well. In this sentence, again there are two verbs, sing and dance. The sentence is in simple past. So, sang and danced, these two verbs are of equal importance. So, both are main verbs. He was driving a car. In this sentence, drive is the main verb and was is helping verb, or it is supporting the main verb drive to indicate the time of action. He has reached the station. Here the main verb is reach and has is a supporting verb or a helping verb which indicates the time of action, and it is present perfect tense. It was raining, so Jim decided to bring an umbrella with him. Now here the main verb is decide. Though it seems that there are so many verbs in this sentence, rain, decide, bring and was, but when we read the sentence carefully and we observe the sentence, decide is the only verb which is important and which is the main verb. It is an action verb. To bring is infinitive form, and it was raining, it is the clause of reason, that because it was raining, so Jim decided to bring an umbrella with him. So, decided is the main verb. Now, what are auxiliary verbs? The auxiliary verbs, or as they are called helping verbs, these are the verbs which help the main verb to describe the action or to give complete information about the main verb. Now, let us try to change these sentences into negatives and interrogative forms. Ram likes tea. The negative is Ram doesn't like tea. So, you have added a not to does. Now, interrogative is does Ram like tea, and negative interrogative is doesn't Ram like tea. So, you have added does to make the sentence negative and interrogative. You speak softly. Now the negative will be you don't speak softly, and the interrogative, do you speak softly, and negative interrogative, don't you speak softly. So here do, does, they are auxiliary verbs. Now he played well. This sentence is in simple past and the negative will be he didn't play well. Interrogative, did he play well, and negative interrogative, did he not play well or didn't he play well. So the sentence was in simple past and we have added did to make it negative or interrogative. So do, does and did, they are auxiliary verbs here which are used to make sentences negative or interrogative. Now here is a list of auxiliary verbs, or they are also known as modal verbs or anomalous finites. Anomalous finites because they do not require do or does or did to make them negative. You can directly add a not with these auxiliaries. Be, this is the most common auxiliary verb that we use in our routine conversation. So am, is and are, these are the present forms of be. Was and were, these are the past forms of be. Been is the past participle form of be, and being is the present participle form of be. And be is the simplest of all verbs. It is a state verb which means to exist. To be means to exist. Hona, in Hindi we will say hona. So if something is, or it was, or it will be, or it has been, this is the simplest verb be. Now do, does and the past form is did. This again is a very common auxiliary verb that we use in our routine conversation. It can also be used as main verb. Has, have and had. This too is a very common auxiliary verb, and it is also used as main verb. We will study this in detail. Then can, could, shall, will, should, would, must, need, may, might, dare, ought to and used to. These are modal verbs, or they are also known as anomalous finites. We can add not to these directly and we do not require any other helping verb for adding a not. So it will be can not, could not, shall not, will not, and we can make interrogatives directly with these auxiliary verbs. Why do we need auxiliary verbs? They are the helping verbs that help the main verb to describe action or to give complete meaning to the verb. Let us take some examples. So when we have to make negative sentences, we need auxiliary verbs. Examples: she does not play tennis. She will not come. I did not go to market yesterday. I am not working. In these sentences, play, come, go and work. These are main verbs, and we have added not in the auxiliary verbs does, will, did and am. So these are auxiliary verbs. Now similarly, we need auxiliary verbs to make interrogative sentences. Let us take some examples. Does she play tennis? Is he coming today? Did he go to market yesterday? Will they inform us? In these sentences, play, coming, go and inform. These are main verbs, these are action verbs, and does, is, did and will. These are used to make interrogative sentences. These are auxiliary verbs. We also use auxiliary verbs to indicate appropriate tense forms. Examples: she has taken books from the library. Here take is the main verb and has is used to indicate present perfect tense. Has is an auxiliary verb. She had returned the books last year. So, return is the main verb here and had is used to indicate that the sentence is in past perfect tense. They were enjoying the match. Here enjoy is the main verb and they were enjoying. So, were indicates that the sentence is in past continuous. Students will submit their assignments. Here submit is the main verb and will is used as an auxiliary to indicate simple future tense. Auxiliary verbs are also used to make question tags and short answers. Now, question tags and short answers are very important in conversation. Most of the times we don't repeat the whole sentence and we use short answers. He wrote to his father, didn't he? So, didn't he is the question tag because the sentence is in simple past. He wrote to his father. So, didn't he? Sentence is in positive, the question tag will be in negative. So, did is used to make the question tag in negative. Yes, he did. This is a short answer. Or if you want to answer in negative, it will be no, he didn't. He hasn't boarded the train. Has he? So, has he is the question tag of a negative sentence. So, the answer in affirmative is yes, he has, just now. If you want a negative short answer, it will be no, he hasn't yet. Another example, she was not cooking, was she? So, the sentence is in negative. So, the question tag will be in positive. She was not cooking, was she? So, was she is the question tag of a negative sentence. The helping verb in this sentence is was. So, the question tag will also be with was. But if the sentence is negative, the question tag will be positive, and if the sentence is positive, the question tag will be negative. So, the short answer will be in negative, no, she wasn't, and if you want to answer in positive, it will be of course she was, or yes, she was. They can solve this, can't they? So, this is a negative question tag of an affirmative sentence, and the negative answer is no, they can't. And if you want a positive answer, you can say of course they can, or yes, they can, certainly they can. Do, does and did auxiliary verbs are also used for emphasis. Emphasis means to lay stress, to lay stress, जोर देना. He did write to his father but didn't get a reply. So, did write emphasizes the verb write. He does earn well but never saves money. Does here emphasizes the verb earn. So, it means of course he earns well. There is no doubt that he earns well, but never saves money. So, do, does and did, they are also used for emphasizing the main verb, for giving more stress on the main verb. Then auxiliary verbs are also used in the construction with so, neither or nor along with the subject. I did not pay attention to him, nor did others. Instead of repeating the whole sentence or repeating the whole clause with another subject, we can simply say so in case of positive sentence and neither or nor in case of negative sentence along with the new subject, of course with the auxiliary. So I did not pay attention to him, nor did others. So we have used this auxiliary verb did with the construction nor to avoid repetition. He couldn't run fast and nor could his brother. So the sentence means he couldn't run fast and his brother also couldn't run fast. But instead of repeating the whole sentence with this new subject, his brother, we simply say nor could his brother, because the sentence is negative, so we have used nor. The auxiliary verb is the same, could, in both the subjects. I would invite his family and so would he. So here instead of saying I would invite his family and he would invite my family, I have said I would invite his family and so would, and the new subject he. So I can solve this problem and so can you. It means I can solve this problem and you can also solve this problem. Now instead of repeating the sentence again with you, I am saying I can solve this problem and so can you. The sentence is positive, so we have used so. The doctor did not tell and neither did the patient. So the doctor did not tell and neither, or nor you can say, or nor did the patient. He is willing to work and so are they. So he is willing to work and they are also willing to work. So you have shortened the sentence and you have said he is willing to work and so are they. So we can use the auxiliary verb with so, neither and nor to avoid repetition. So we have studied that auxiliary verbs are used to make negative sentences, make interrogative sentences, make question tags and short forms, to indicate appropriate tense forms, for emphasis do, does and did, and in the construction with so, neither and nor to avoid repetition. So let us take be and the forms of be as main verbs and auxiliary verbs. So am, is and are, these are the present forms of be. Was and were are the past forms of be. Been is the past participle and being is the present participle. Now let us see be as main verb. He is a teacher, the earth is round, I am a student, employees are sincere, he was late, they were young, I have been a doctor, be happy, be careful. In all these sentences, the forms of be, is, am, are, was, were, been, or simply be. They are used as state verbs because they indicate state of being. Now let us observe be as auxiliary verb. I am reading a book. Read is the main verb and am is an auxiliary verb or a helping verb which indicates present continuous tense. He is not reading a book. So here read is a main verb and is used as a helping verb to indicate negative sentence. They are watching movie. So are is the helping verb here. Watch is main verb. Was he playing games? This is an interrogative sentence and was is used as an auxiliary to make it interrogative in the beginning. They were not playing, were they? So were is used here to indicate present continuous tense, and in question tag also were is used because the sentence is negative. So we have an affirmative or positive question tag. He has been writing stories. Write is the main verb and has been, these are auxiliary verbs which indicate that the sentence is in present perfect continuous tense. A house will be built. The sentence is in passive voice and be is the auxiliary verb here. Built is the main verb. A house is being built. So here is and being, these two forms are used as auxiliary verbs along with the main verb built to indicate passive voice. So the sentence is present continuous. Now let's take the next auxiliary verb. This too is a very common auxiliary verb, that is do, does and did. But before we study it as auxiliary verb, let's know it as a main verb first. So using do as main verb, it indicates to act or to perform an action. Do means karna. So to do an act or to perform an action is do as main verb. Examples: I do a lot of work every day. So I do means I perform. She does exercises regularly. They do prayer in the morning. We don't do this work. So here there are two do, or there are double do's. There are two do's. One is used to make negative and the other is the main verb. So one verb is the main verb and the other is the auxiliary verb. They did it yesterday. So here did is the main verb and it is used to indicate an act which was done in past. They did it yesterday. I did not do it. Again, this sentence has a double do. So there are two do's. One, did, is an auxiliary verb and do is the main verb. So did is an auxiliary verb used to make the sentence negative. Now let us take do as an auxiliary verb. When do is used as an auxiliary verb, it can be used to make the sentences negative, interrogative, or it can be used for making question tags or for emphasizing the main verb. He does not like tea. Does is used to make negative sentence as an auxiliary verb. I do not write letters. Here do is used as an auxiliary verb to make the sentence negative. Do they go to college every day? So do is used here to make the sentence interrogative. Don't you exercise regularly? So don't is used to make the sentence negative interrogative. We didn't help him. Did we? Did we? Here this is the question tag of a negative sentence. Did is auxiliary verb here. It is used to make negative and help is the main verb. This did is used to make question tag. She finished the work. Didn't she? In this sentence also, didn't she? This is the question tag. Please make sure to come to my party. So do is to lay emphasis on the main verb come. So it is used for emphasis. When you reach hostel, do call me. So again, do is used as an auxiliary verb to emphasize the verb call. She did come to the party but left early. So she did come. So did is used to emphasize the verb come. She did come. Of course she came to the party but she left early. So did, it is strengthening or it's laying more stress on the verb come. Now there's a short quiz to tickle your brain. You have to change these sentences into negative and interrogatives. They do homework regularly. He does yoga every day and I did it fast. In all these sentences, do, does or did is used as main verb. Now you have to change these sentences into negative and interrogative. The answers are here for you to check, and the hint is when do is used as main verb and the sentence is in simple present tense or simple past tense, then you will have to add another do to make it negative or interrogative. So please check your answers. You can pause the video and check your answers. Let's take the next auxiliary verb, that is has, have, and in the past tense had. Before we take them as auxiliary verbs, we should know, can they be used as main verbs? Yes. Let's check. Has, have is used to indicate possession. Possession means belongingness. So if something belongs to me, I would say I have this. I have a good collection of books. That means I possess a good collection of books. He has a smartphone, means the smartphone belongs to him. They have machines for this work, means they are possessing machines for this work. Has and have is also used to indicate taking meals, that is taking breakfast, lunch or dinner, or to eat or drink. So I have lunch in the canteen, this means I take lunch in the canteen. He has dinner with his family means he takes dinner with his family. The children had milk before going to bed means the children took milk or they consumed milk before going to bed. So in the meaning of eating or drinking, to eat or to drink, we use has and have. It's more polite expression of saying eat or drink. When some guest comes to your house, you always say have a cup of tea. You don't say drink a cup of tea. So has and have and the past tense is had is used to indicate taking meals, breakfast, lunch or dinner. Has, have and had is used as main verb to indicate taking bath. He has a bath early in the morning or he has a bath every day. I had a shower and joined them. So here has and have means to take bath or to take shower. To pass through an experience, good or bad, or to pass through a difficulty or trouble. This is also indicated by has or have, and here mind it well, we are studying has and have as main verb. So I had a very bad headache last night. Had is used as main verb here. It means I suffered or I passed through an experience of having a bad headache last night. He had an accident. So he met an accident or he experienced an accident. He passed through an accident. I had a busy day. My day was very busy. Have a nice day means it's a wish. You are wishing that your day may pass nicely. The child has a toothache. That means the child is experiencing trouble in the tooth. So he is passing through the experience of toothache. He had an operation of his leg. So again this is an experience of surgery. He had an operation of his leg. We had enjoyable vacations. So we enjoyed our vacations. We had an enjoyable time. Have a nice journey. Again this is a wish that you may have a nice journey. Your experience of journey may be nice. Has, have and had, they are used as main verb to show an activity which is scheduled or planned or organized. If I say I have a party in the evening, this means that I have organized a party in the evening. We have exams in every semester. It means our exams are scheduled every semester. Students have 5 to 6 classes daily. Or we have vacations in June. This shows that 5 or 6 classes are planned or scheduled in the timetable. We have vacations in June means our vacations are scheduled in June. We have sports week in January and annual function in March. That means these activities of sports week and annual function are planned or scheduled in January and March respectively. I have some guests in the evening. That means I have invited some guests in the evening or I have planned to meet some guests in the evening. So in this way has, have and had are also used to indicate a scheduled or planned or organized activity. So let's revise what we have studied in has and have. Has and have is used to indicate possession, to take meals, to take bath, or to mean passing through an experience, or to mean any activity which is scheduled or planned or organized. Now when has, have and had is used as main verb, it forms negative and interrogative using do, does or did. So do not have, does not have, did not have. So has, have and had, they will also have their continuous form, like I have lunch or I am having lunch, I have bath in the morning or I am having bath in the morning. So in this way has and have, they also have continuous forms when they are used as main verbs. So has and have, when used as main verb, they can be used in perfect tenses with another has or have as auxiliary verb. Like if I say I have breakfast in the morning and I want to change the sentence into present perfect tense, it will be I have had breakfast in the morning. So has, have, had as auxiliary verbs, when we study them as an auxiliary verb, so they are used to indicate perfect tenses, present perfect or past perfect or future perfect tense. In present perfect, has will be used, in past perfect, had will be used with third form of the verb, and in future perfect, third form of the verb along with will have or shall have will be used. So these are the examples. She has finished her work, but Ram has not finished yet. They have played well and have won the match. The train had left on time. He will have completed 5 years in this job next month. I shall have reached Bhopal tomorrow evening. As auxiliary verbs, has and have or had can also be used to mean to get something done or to get some work done by someone. Like I had my car washed means I got my car washed. He had his tooth pulled out by a dentist means he got his tooth pulled out. You have your new dress stitched before Diwali. So you get your new dress stitched before Diwali. So has, have and had, when they are used as auxiliary verbs to indicate the meaning of to get something done. I had my hair cut means I got my hair cut. So in this way, has, have, had, they are used as auxiliary verbs. Here is a short quiz to tickle your brain. Get ready. Now you have to change the sentences into present perfect tense, and here has and have, they are used as main verb. And let me give you a hint that in present perfect tense we use has and have and the third form of the verb. I have a smartphone, have indicates possession. I have breakfast in the morning, have indicates taking breakfast. She is having toothache since morning. So is having is indicating present continuous tense. He has bath with warm water. Here has is indicating having bath, taking bath. I have a party in the evening. I have a party in the evening. Here have means the party is organized or planned in the evening, and we have exams every 6 months. That means our exams are scheduled every 6 months. You have to change all these sentences into present perfect tense. All the best and try. You have the answers, and the secret lies in using double has and have. One is already a main verb in these sentences, and another you have to use as an auxiliary verb to indicate the right tense, that is present perfect. Now the next auxiliary is can and could, to show ability. Can in the present and could ability in the past. I can read with these glasses. It means I am able to read with these glasses. He can run fast, means he is able to run fast. The boy can climb this tree. That means the boy is able to climb the tree. The child can swim now. That means the child is able to swim now. All these sentences show ability in the present with the help of the auxiliary verb can. Now, could is used to show ability in the past. So, could will mean was or were able to. I could read without glasses. So, it is ability in the past, that without glasses I could read, but now I cannot read without glasses. So, I could read without glasses means I was able to read without glasses. He could run before he had an accident, means he was able to run before he had an accident. He could climb this tree when he was young. That means he was able to climb this tree when he was young. The child could swim even at the age of 4. That means the child was able to swim even at the age of 4. Now, if we want to show ability in the future tense, we will use will or shall be able to. So, I shall be able to read with glasses. That means if I am given glasses, I get my glasses, I shall be able to read with the glasses. He will be able to drive after he gets a license. Again, this is an ability in the future, that after he gets a license, he will be able to drive. So, can also means permission and possibility. Let us take the example of permission. So, it is informal permission. You can go now. Can I take your pen? He can eat anything when the doctor allows him. And can I pluck just one flower? These are all examples of permission in informal situation. So, informal situation means when you are taking permission from your friend or from some known person where you do not have official or professional relations. So, they are all informal situation. Now, can is also used to indicate possibility. Examples, he can be in the library. It is possible you can find him in the library. It can rain, take an umbrella. So, there is a possibility of rain, take an umbrella. The train can be late. His parents can return any moment. So, there is a possibility of his parents returning any moment. If we want to take formal permission, then always use may. So, in formal situations, use may for permission. And for possibility, may is also used. You can say it can rain, or you can also say it may rain. You can say the train can be late, or you can also say the train may be late. Now, can or could to replace adverb of time. So, these time expressions can be replaced with the help of can and could. He is at times late, but is usually punctual. We can replace this at times with he can be late. So, he is at times late, we can say he can be late, but is usually punctual, or we can also say he could be late, but is usually punctual. The advice of parents is often quite useful. So, we can replace this word often by can be. The advice of parents can be quite used. It is sometimes quite hot here in the month of July. So, we can say it can be quite hot here in the month of July, or alternatively we can also say it could be quite hot here in the month of July. So, it is possible that it can be hot here in the month of July. All of us are forgetful occasionally. Occasionally means aksar. So, all of us can be forgetful, or all of us could be forgetful. It is possible that all of us can be forgetful at some times, or occasionally we have replaced with can be or could be. Could have can be used to express possibility in the past which did not happen. I could have missed the train. That means I did not miss the train, but I could have missed it if I did not take taxi. You could have hurt yourself. That means it is good that you haven't hurt yourself, but You could have hurt yourself if you were careless. So you could have hurt yourself means it did not happen, but there was a possibility that it could happen. They could have told me. So it shows possibility in the past. You could have accepted the offer. It shows the possibility in the past. Could is also used to mean polite request, like, could you pass me the salt please? So here could is used to mean a polite request. Could you help me please? Could I borrow your calculator please? Could you open the door please? In all these sentences, could is used to indicate polite request. So the next auxiliary verb is will. You must have studied in school that will is used to indicate future tense with second and third person. But will as auxiliary verb, it indicates much more than simply future tense. Will is used to indicate desire, ichha, or intention, irada, with first person. So earlier when you have studied tenses in your school, you must have studied that will is not used with first person, but will is used with first person as an auxiliary verb to indicate not future tense but other things. The first is to show desire or intention. Come, I'll show you my new painting. It's my desire. Come, I'll show you my new painting. I want to show you my new painting. We'll watch a movie after the exam. It is intention. We'll watch a movie after the exam. Will can also be used with first person to indicate determination. Determination means firm decision or dhrada nischay. I will clear all my papers in first attempt. I will clear all my papers in first attempt. I'll work hard to get promotion. So this is indicating determination. Will can also indicate refusal in the negative. Refusal means not doing or to deny. I will not come to your birthday party. So I am refusing that I will not come to your party. So will not come is a refusal. We will not invite them. Again, this is a refusal. So will is also used with first person to indicate refusal in the negative. Refuse means mana karna. Mana karna. Promise. Will also indicates promise with first person. I will help you whenever you need. So it's a promise. Here will is used with first person. I'll gift you a watch if you pass. Again, it's a promise. And here will is used with first person. So will as an auxiliary verb also indicates polite request. Like examples, will you give me your pen? Will you pass me the salt please? Will you please drop me home? Will you share your notes with me please? Will you teach my brother please? So these are all polite requests. Here will is used with second person to show polite request. Will is also used to express threat or for threatening. So return my money or I'll see you. Here will is used to threaten. He will sue you if he comes to know that you have taken all his property. So he will sue you in the court if he comes to know that you have taken all his property. He will not leave you when he comes back to India. Again, this is a threat. They will shoot you if you try to run away. So they will shoot you. This is a threat. You have studied that will is used to indicate future tense with second and third person, like he will reply. It indicates that the sentence is in simple future tense, and with second and third person will indicates simply future tense. Now the auxiliary verb shall is, you already know and you must have studied in school that with first person shall is used to indicate simply future tense, but shall is used to express more than simply future tense. It is used to express much more than that. It indicates obligation or duty with second or third person. Like students shall come in uniform. Here shall is used with third person. This is duty of the students to come in school uniform. So all the workers shall report to the supervisor. Employees shall leave only after finishing the assigned task. These are all examples of duty. Shall is also used to indicate mandatory action. Mandatory action means any action which is a compulsion by law. Any action which is compulsory, which is made compulsory by law or by some authority or by some rules. So students shall wear the lab coat and gloves before entering the lab. So you have made it a rule that students shall wear the lab coat and gloves before entering the lab. Deposit the fee before last date, otherwise late fee shall be charged. The company shall pay rupee 1 lakh as compensation to the employee. So in court orders or in legal language, we find that this auxiliary verb shall is used to make some action mandatory or to make some action compulsory. Shall is also used to indicate offering of services, and it is used with first person. Shall I help you in boarding the train? So here you are offering to help somebody in boarding the train. So shall I help you in boarding the train? You are looking for the library. Shall I take you there? So you are looking for the library. Shall I take you there? You are offering to help. It's raining. Shall we drop you? Shall I lend you some money? These are all examples of offering services. Shall is also used in the negative to indicate prohibition. It means pratibandh. Prohibition means pratibandh या किसी कार्य को करने की मनाही. It is used with second and third person to indicate prohibition. So no one shall enter without permission. No one is allowed to enter without permission. Students with less than 75% attendance shall not be allowed to appear in the exam. So again it indicates that students with less than 75% attendance are prohibited to appear in the exam. Prohibited means not allowed. Vehicles shall not be parked in the porch. So shall not be parked indicates that the parking of vehicles in the porch is prohibited. It's not allowed. So in the negative, shall can mean prohibition with second and third person. Shall is also used for making a suggestion, and when we suggest, we use the form shall we. Let's go out for a picnic. Shall we? Let's have tea. Shall we? So here shall is used to mean how about. So you are floating an idea, let's have tea, and you mean how is this idea of taking tea? So let's have tea, shall we? Let's find out the reason for his coming late, shall we? Shall we offer him this job? So it is making a suggestion. Shall we dance? Shall we join a gym together? Or shall we take a break now? Or shall we hire a computer operator for this work? These are all examples of suggestion, and when we make suggestions, we always use the construction shall we, and it simply means how about or how is this idea. Shall is used with first person I or we to indicate simply future tense. This you must have already studied whenever you studied tenses in school, that shall is used with first person, that is I and we, to indicate simply future tense. I shall come to college next week. This is a sentence in which shall is used simply to mean future tense and nothing else. We shall go on a vacation this summer. Again here shall indicate simply future tense. Now here is an exercise. You have to use appropriate auxiliary verbs in the sentences given, and the instructions are given that you have to change the sentence into negative, or you have to change the sentence into present perfect tense, or you have to write a question tag, or you have to use the construction so or neither nor. So, please do this exercise and check what you have learnt, how much you have learnt. So, please do this exercise as indicated in the bracket. You can pause the video and check the answers later on. The answers are here for you. More sentences and the answers are here for you to check, or you have to use the auxiliary verb to indicate ability in present, or promise, or suggestion, or polite request, or interrogative present. But in real life situations, you will not get these hints. According to the demand of the situation, you will be required to put in or use the right auxiliary verbs. This is my sincere advice to all sincere learners, that knowing and understanding is not enough. Doing exercises given in the textbook is necessary, but not enough. You have to memorize the grammatical structures and use them in speaking. Make sentences of your own and speak to reinforce your learning. Be aware of grammar whenever you are listening or reading English, and repeat the expressions loudly that you find useful for conversing. So, repeat them a number of times till they become part of your active speaking. So, suggested books for further practice and more exercise. You have to do the exercises that are given in your communication skills for technical students. You can also do more exercises given in the book Essential English Grammar by Raymond Murphy. Our next lecture will be on auxiliary verbs part 2, and in that lecture we will be taking up the auxiliary verbs must, need, dare, would, should, may, might, ought to and used to. Thank you.